the first week of August is breastfeeding week, and like you all must have noticed, we were putting on some myths and facts related to breastfeeding. So, to end the breastfeeding week today, Dr. Pooja and I are going to talk about those myths in more detail. Are you ready to get
Yes,
started, Dr. Pooja?
definitely. And this, as a community expert in nutrition and lactation, I feel that myth bursting is something really very exciting because so much of research comes into play, but it's not reached out to our moms community. And Barka, thank you for taking up this topic. I'm really excited for art life for today. Let's.
Okay. So let's get started. Okay, the first myth is breastfeeding isn't easy.
Well, I did come across this, and to tell you about it, it is a good journey. But to break the fact, to tell you the fact over here, research is saying that it is easy if it is initiated with the first hour. That is what we called as golden hour.
Golden hour.
Okay, and every mother has a very different experience. Every mother has her own story to tell. We can understand that breastfeeding will be something which every mom looks upon, but there could be situations or there could be circumstances where the baby is not with the mother, or the baby is not kept with the mother during the first 24 hours, but the mother has to be determined enough that she can express it out, she can use the pumps, she can ask her partner's help, and then she can breastfeed her child. So I would break this myth saying that it is easy provided you have all your support, all the love, all the affection, and you coming into this motherhood zone. You are so very determined to look after your young one, whatever the situation would be.
Like I know, like when I had started my breastfeeding journey, it used to like, there was a time when I told my mother, just like, take away my baby. Like, if I'm close to my breast, even like one more time, I'm going to start crying. I think that was only because my maybe probably her lactation consultant, and after that, like it would say I never had to like top her up with a formula or any through and through. So it's just that you need to pinpoint your what to and then get it addressed by
Correct.
an expert. And it's all easy, like they say. Like, of course, it's overwhelming. It's not difficult.
It is not difficult. As you said, rightly said, you require a professional help, and let them do their job. So even if the partners are there, the mom-in-laws are there, the mothers are there, but there are so many here and say, along with those people who being, and the mother really feels, am I doing good? So
Right.
the baby blues start coming in. Okay.
Correct. The
And
fourth
we just have to
trimester.
tell her it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Relax. It's not a marathon. Relax. So I think we do the best part of it.
Right. So let's move on to the other myth, that is, can breastfeeding moms take any medicine? Like any medication in case like I have a headache, can I take like an aspirin for it? Or if my stomach is paining, can I take something for it? Or do we completely need to rely on natural like natural cures, home
Right.
remedy?
So that is a very beautiful, myth that Barkha you have asked, and I would like to appreciate on this Baby Chakra platform is that medicines are safe during breastfeeding. It is research proven, and there are different categories of medicines which a doctor generally prescribes. Okay, when you go to a gynecologist, she gives you medicines for sometimes if you are in pain, or if you have a nipple crack, or as you rightly said, headache or stomach ache. You go to the gynecologist, get those medicines prescribed, and take them according to the course, or the duration that she has prescribed it for. Do not do any kind of self medication, because you may end up doing sometimes known as overdosage, and that might put the baby to becoming more sleepy or gloomy kind of a thing. And anything which is self medication is harmful, but medication through a doctor or through a practitioner is safe because they know the content, number one. Number two, they adjust the dose according to your breastfeeding pattern. That is also very, very important. And number three, they always prescribe you safe medicine which do not go to the baby. Now, our breasts act as a filter, and there are many layers in which the tissues or the cells take up the absorb the nutrients from the medicine and circulate into the body, and then the milk which goes does not have any kind of medicine residues. So this is how the beauty is upon how our breast is working. So I believe that any strong medicine, yes, it needs to be taken under the guidance of a doctor or a practitioner. But any over-the-counter medicines always needs to have a prescription. I believe, Barkha, that answers your question.
Yes, yes. Thank you for answering it so beautifully. I think it's just that we need to be very open with our doctor, and in case we, like, the pain that we have or any problem that we have is over our, pain bearing level, then it is always advised to talk to a doctor and get a medicine. Like, it's not
Correct.
like you cannot take a medicine, it's just that
Yes.
you need to take it under guidance. That's all.
Yes. And sometimes, Barka, what happens is we become so friendly with our gynecs or with our
Yeah,
pediatricians. We are just a call away. Yeah, or
right.
on a WhatsApp, they send us a prescription. But no, legally, that should not be, it's not advised in a way. We always need a prescription. Okay, so if you could go back to your old prescription or ask them to, refurnish the existing one, then that is very, very helpful for medical records, which you probably would like to keep for the future in case.
Right, right. So everything that you are doing basically should be documented
Correct.
in case you need to go back and look at it in the future.
Yes.
Right. That is such an important point. I think all our breastfeeding mothers should keep a track of this. That all the everything that we are doing while our breastfeeding journey should just be documented in case we need to refer it to in the future, in the coming future. Right. Okay, so let's move on to the other myth, that is you can't breastfeed if the size or shape of your nipple is small or it's different than how it is supposed to be.
Well, this is a very iconic question, I must say, in a sense that we are all beautiful ladies out here who are promising ourselves to take up a responsibility for the little one who is coming on the way. Number one. Number two, we are growing in size. As in, during the 9 months of pregnancy, there are so many changes happening in our body that from the time of conception till the time of delivery, the chest size has increased. You never know how it was earlier. But the areola darkens, the nipples, become inverted or become flat, or they sometimes in the pregnancy also, because of harsh climatic conditions, they become dry. So the size changes, the variability changes, the color changes, and this causes a like a effect on the minds of the mothers. Are mera kya hoga? How am I going to do all these things? It is very simple. Whenever you go for your ANC sessions, or you go to a gynecologist for a regular checkup, along with your body checkup and your fetus checkup, it is always advisable that you do a nipple check at the 32nd week onwards, that is your 8th month onwards. So if you have known that there is a problem, there is always a solution, which is a silicone shield. But size of the breast, size of the nipple do not matter for the quantity of milk that is going to be produced in your body. The baby has a specific routine which comes in, like suck, swallow, cycle. The baby sucks, he swallows, and then that cycle continues. So the amount of milk produced, or at the emptying of the breast, which is the in term right now, we understand how much quantity the baby is suckling in. So it, even if your nipples are inverted, or if your chest is small, or chest is very, very large, and your bra size, doubles or triples during the pregnancy. Stay calm. There is nothing wrong. Enjoy these changes, and these are the things which will be very very beneficial for the mother who is going to breastfeed after her delivery. So
Right.
I think a single assessment with the gynecologist just changes everything.
Yeah, like I remember 8th month of pregnancy, my doctor did do a thorough nipple check, and then he was like, I might have like clogged ducts or something, and then he had advised me to, like, keep cleaning them and trying to pull them out so that when I deliver, I'm ready to breastfeed my child. So, like, I think all our pregnant moms here should definitely talk to the doctors about having a thorough breast check, nipple check, so that you don't encounter these problems after the baby is born, and you're
Correct.
ready for all of this when the baby is born.
And Barkha, what happens, the mothers get in a stress or get into a panic mode. Now, the reason is, suppose the delivery has happened and they are not unable to breastfeed. And it could be due to a late lactation phase which has initiated, or due to some hormonal imbalance. And the mothers feel that, I should have done this before, I should have not done this before. The time is not wrong. You can still do it. You can ask the gynecologist and ask for help over there also. So that stress, makes a negative impact onto the milk production. So over
Right.
here to a mom's community, I would just like to say is, go with the flow. We have to we need to have a very positive mindset, and this is what is going to help us to breastfeed your little one.
Right, right. Like, I think anything that is done correctly should not affect the nutritional value of the breast milk that is being produced. Like,
Yes,
the size or shape, or if your nipple is different, it should not, really have a nutritional effect on the breastfeeding journey.
correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
And I think another myth that we should discuss today is breastfeeding. Like, does breastfeeding always hurt? Is it painful?
Well, that's a very tricky question, and I liked the fact that you're going to break this myth. Breastfeeding doesn't hurt. Number one, if you have been, breastfeeding is like a routine habit which is new and which takes time to perform. Okay. Now, for the fact that if the child's gums are very hard, or the child has a natal tooth, the tooth which is born at the time of birth, that could be painful. So that needs an assessment by the doctor. Okay. Secondly, if you are having cracked nipples, if you are having sore nipples, or if you are having an infection on the nipples, and then the biting by the child onto the nipples becomes a little painful. So it is how you take it up when you are having these problems. Okay. Ideally, we allow the mothers to breastfeed even when the mother's nipples are cracked. We ask them to apply a cream or apply their own breast milk. Leave it open. The wound should be left open so that there is natural healing. Okay. And this allows the pain to subside. But as I told before, that if there is a native teeth which is present, definitely it could be hurting. But not all mothers experience this. It is only 1% of the 100% that have this painful problems, but they do forgo if they are taken with a proper treatment.
Right.
And secondly, I would also like to tell is that, the position and the latch of how you place your child onto the breast, that is also very important. Now, I know you moms are very tired after your delivery, because a lot of energy combustion has happened. Okay. If you are having drooping shoulders, if your position is in the forward way, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, everything pains. But a lot, if you have a lot of pillows on your back, near your stomach, you're having a baby feeding pillow, then these things do definitely put a rest to the pain that you're having. and that allows you for comfortable breastfeeding.
Right. These days, you even get like nursing pillows with a nice back support. I remember
Yes,
that's the one that I used to use, and it used to be so comfortable. I mean, I couldn't go anywhere without that pillow, and if I had that pillow, I could breastfeed anywhere. Like it was just put me in such a good place. So I would suggest all the moms to invest in a breastfeeding pillow, because it is going to really help your breastfeeding journey. Like, you decide to breastfeed
absolutely.
for a year and a half, or 6 months, depending on whatever you decide. But you should definitely invest in a breastfeeding pillow to avoid, like, your back being hurt, or your shoulders being drooped, and your neck being caught because of breastfeeding. So that is one thing that will really help all the moms.
And to add to that, the sleepless nights that we all have been through. So that is
Yeah.
one more thing.
Oh my God. But now that my daughter is, like, say, 2 years old, and I don't remember it. Like, of course, I remember that I used to be stressed about it, but that is one thing that, if I go back to my journey of my baby being 0 months old to 12 months old, I don't like it is not such a big stress factor for me. Like, if I had to do it all over again and somebody said, what would you do differently? Maybe I wouldn't mind breastfeeding through the night, because I knew that my baby was safe, my baby was with me, rather than,
Yes,
me topping it up with her with formula, top feed, whatever. Of course, that is a choice that some people have to make or decide to make. That's a very personal choice. But, like, I don't think I would want to change that part of my breastfeeding journey.
absolutely correct.
Also,
Very
related
correctly.
to that, I think there's a myth that says if we breastfeed in a lying down position, babies can get ear infection or something. Is that true? Like, that's the reason a lot of moms are advised to get up in the middle of the night like zombies and feed their babies.
Well, to add to that myth, I actually, experimented it. Okay. So for me, it was like, I would sit, I had a terrible time in the first 2 3 months. I was actually in pain, and I used to do that. But when I started doing the sideline position, I was a little conscious about how do I breastfeed. So how do I hold my breast, how do I massage my breast, and how much is the quantity that would go in. That was one thing. Secondly, I would also understand for the fact that, sideline position is the best for all the mothers who are willing to breastfeed their child throughout the night. But also remember that this is demand and supply. It is not very direct. Ki, in a fact that the way you feed it, okay, that much only the milk will be taken by the child. So you have to be a little conscious, otherwise feed these holes are open, and that is a reason it might get, inside the ear, or might cause a little bit of choking problem. What generally happens is, after, when you are sleeping and feeding the child, we forget to burp. Array, it's so nice, it's like a,
Right.
in midnight, and then, it's like 3 a.m. Who is going to burp the child? You're like, chalo jane do. This attitude, I feel that, we should not have it. Burp your child, place your, let him have a disturbed sleep, not a problem, but just have a pat on his back, and they feel secure. Put up a blanket. Co-sleeping is what Indians do follow in the initial time, and that will be helpful, and this myth can be broken up over here.
Okay. There is a question from one of our audience here, and I would like to read it out, and you could
Yeah.
maybe answer that. This question is from Yukti. I am exclusively pumping. I have been doing that for the last 9 months. I am weaning off now. I have a pimple on my right breast with a white head, but it never
Okay.
pops. Is it going to go away after I stop pumping, or anything that I should do to help it go away?
Yukti, that's a very beautiful question. So what we call it, it is known as a bleb. Sorry. So that could, see, if the water is going to come out of it, then it could be like an infection, a pus kind of a thing. Okay, but if that is not painful for you, it's leave it as it is, and definitely it might, subside down. So just if you're pumping, I would just request you to do a little bit of hand pump, or use a manual expression where you massage your breast and remove the extra amount of milk, and for a few days till the time you wean off. And then definitely, if that thing is not yet gone, check with your gynecologist once. I think that would be helpful for you, and I hope I answer your question.
I think even a hot compress or a cold compress helps in pimples like this, right, Dr. Pooja? Like if we just
it
wet a cloth.
It could, but because we are unaware of the size, and we are unaware of to what condition it would, burst in. That is the
Right,
reason I would not suggest. So
right.
rather than getting into another condition, what I suggested was hand pumping, hand expression,
And
and
expressing,
that,
yes.
yes, and that would allow her to get a little bit of ease, and the size of the bleb can also get reduced naturally.
Right, right, right. Thank you so much for taking up that question for Yukti, Dr. Pooja. And is there anything else that you would like to tell our users before we can end this session?
Yes, I had got a comment saying that I did not breastfeed my child. Okay, there are many women out in this world that who do not breastfeed their child, or who want to but cannot. But there is a phase which we call it as relactation or induced lactation. Okay, you can get back to breastfeeding with a lot of trials, and you need to constantly get in touch with a lactation professional who helps you to, breastfeed your child. Are you amazed with the fact, Barkha, that even adopted children can be breastfed? Did you know
Oh,
this?
really?
Yes.
Wow. I had no
Yes.
idea.
So this is a beautiful fact that I'm sharing out here, that even your adopted children can be breastfed till the whatever duration you want. It's only that a professional can seriously help you to bond with the baby over breastfeeding. And I believe that we have broken some wonderful myths out here, and I have answered the queries which had come up.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja. To end this, I would just like to share that breastfeed journey is personal to everybody. And
Yes.
that is why we are going to come up with a few breastfeeding stories of moms. And Dr. Pooja is going to do that with our moms of community next week. So I would request all of you to join. And if you have any questions or would like to share your experience, please drop in a comment and Dr. Pooja will get in touch with you to share your story with all our community. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
So,
Yes.
thank you, Barkha. This breastfeeding week doesn't end over here. We are coming back with some beautiful mother stories that would enrich and enhance your experience also. So, thank you for joining us live on this Baby Chakra platform.
Thank you.